You all right, love?
You want some breakfast?
No, I've got one of them lunch things on today. It'll give me an appetite if I miss me toast.
What about tea?
Look, I'm all right. You sit yourself down.
I mean tonight.
Well, of course I will, yeah. Just get our Karen to do it.
You will be home, though?
Of course.
I need to know. You've been missing half the weekend and just about every night last week.
I know, she, but I've had loads on, haven't I?
Hardly see you these days.
Come on.
Never see the baby.
Oh, no way. Come on, she. You know that's not right, don't you? I had her in my arms all last night.
You haven't seen her this morning, though, have you?
Well, I know she's asleep.
Don't ask me. If you'd been in to see her, you'd know, wouldn't you?
Look, I didn't want to wake her up. That's why I didn't want to go in, love. But I'll see her tonight.
Don't play, love.
She, I've got loads on, honest.
I need you. It's just me and her all day.
Look, I've got to go, honest. But I'll get home early, okay? Come on, don't worry.
Yes?
Mrs. Collins?
Yes?
I'm Joanna Duncan, Christopher Duncan's mother. The head boy at your son's school.
Oh, hello.
May I come in?
Oh, yes. Yes, please do.
I thought I remembered you.
Christopher's mother. Yes, I think we have met.
It's Annabelle, isn't it?
Yes.
I've been meaning to call for weeks, but, oh, is this convenient? You're going?
Oh, yes, as a matter of fact, I'm just going over to see Mr. Doughty about my son.
I want to talk to you about Gordon.
Is he all right?
I'm sorry?
Has he been in touch with your son?
Christopher hasn't been in touch with him for weeks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd called because...
I don't know how I'm going to say this to you, but I have to. You are alone.
Yes.
Are you sure?
It was Matthews.
I loathe that man.
With me, it's simple hate. I don't understand why a decent guy like Curzon took him on.
Good at his job, maybe?
That's debatable. But to do a thing like that... God, I wish...
Good morning, everyone.
Hi.
Mike?
Excuse me.
Why is it when I'm in a good mood, everyone has to be the opposite?
This place will put anyone in a bad mood.
Oh, well, that's because you're still the underling and I'm the boss.
Then shouldn't you show an example? I was here at 8:30 this morning.
Hey, I had to go to the office first to collect this. Aren't you going to ask me about my new car?
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Don's looking out for some personalised number plates to suit me. He's trying for a delivery tomorrow. Joyce is going to be green with envy. Greg, is something wrong?
Huh? Hello, McAdam. Oh, hello, Joyce. Yep. Yes, do you want to speak? Oh, okay. Yep. I'll tell her. Bye.
Is that Joyce?
Yes. She wants you to go and see her. Straight away.
No, her secretary knew I was in earlier. What's she want to drag me back for?
I'll get on with it, shall I?
It started, Christopher's illness, when this girl appeared. Gordon's... She's called Kathy, I believe. I may not remember the name correctly, but it's what Christopher...
Kathy. Yes, that's right. But I don't understand. I mean, what is she to do with your son? I didn't know he even knew her.
She came between Christopher and Gordon.
Between them?
Gordon told Christopher about her. It started everything. He wouldn't go to school. He wouldn't eat properly. Geoffrey and I pressed him, but it was some time before he'd talk about it.
About what?
You knew they were close. They always have been. Well, when Kathy appeared, Gordon gave a letter to Christopher. He said He didn't want to be seen with him, associating with him. It took us some time to find all this out, and Geoffrey and I are worried about his schooling. It was an awful shock for Geoffrey and me when Christopher told us. You don't know what we've been through privately. If Mr. Doughty were to find out...
Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure Christopher is...
Yes. We've had a very long talk about it. We've all got to accept it.
Did he say that Gordon was that way?
Yes?
Hi, you wanted to see me?
Yes, I did. Sit down. I was called up to Howard Drucker's this morning about the Curzon review. They've been in touch with him and, well, we've decided to make a change. A matter of switching people.
Oh?
We'll be putting Nigel Green into Curzon's tomorrow.
Nigel Green? He's corporate taxation.
Yes, I know.
I'm afraid I don't need him.
And I'm afraid that doesn't come into it. Nigel will be replacing you.
What?
I'm sorry. But we'll be taking you off the Curzon job from now.
But why?
My discussion with Howard didn't go into detail.
My work's satisfactory. You've checked it, haven't you?
Of course. It always is.
You must have said why.
The decision has been made, well, for a variety of reasons.
Oh, come on, Joyce. What sort of an explanation is that?
It's the managing partner's explanation. And if you take my advice, we'll have to accept it.
Anna?
You've been hours.
Came as quickly as I could. What's happening? Has Gordon been in touch with this boy?
No.
Well, what then? Well, come on. I've driven 15 miles to come home in the middle of the day. What is it?
Mrs. Duncan told me something that might be the reason for Gordon leaving.
Yes?
Gordon seems to have had some trouble with her son. They quarrelled. Christopher's been absent from school and he blames Gordon.
Gordon?
Christopher's confessed to his parents. They seem to have been having some kind of relationship.
Sorry. You okay?
What do you think? You did know, didn't you?
Yes. I heard first thing this morning. I'm sorry. I know what it meant to you, running this review.
Yes, it hurts. But what hurts more is not being given a decent reason. I wouldn't mind if my work was at fault, but it's not.
What did Joyce say?
She didn't go into details.
Why not?
I don't know. Apparently, Howard Drucker wouldn't take kindly to a fuss being made. Demands for an explanation. Greg, what's been said at the factory?
Not a lot.
Greg,
I really think you ought to go and see Howard Drucker.
will you just tell me what you've heard?
Mike Harrison was carpeted by Matthews this morning for unprofessional emotional involvements.
No need to guess who with.
No.
Oh, man, he's a rat.
I know. I hate to bother you, but you wanted me to go through the paperwork on those faulty product returns. Have you got any more on them?
No.
Do you think Matthews is covering up something over that? And that's why he's done this to you?
I don't know. Even if I did, who's going to believe me? What would they call it? Sour grapes? A smear campaign? Revenge?
Then there's nothing to suggest that this is more than a one-sided business. Christopher Duncan may, on his own confession, be that way. That doesn't mean that Gordon...
Not concerned about that.
Not concerned. A woman comes here and as good as brands Gordon as abnormal, and you're not concerned?
Of course I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Gordon. He's obviously in great distress. I don't know if that's the cause of it or not. I just know that we should be with him. I'm going to book us a flight to France.
Anna, you can't.
We have to. Or is Petrochem and your precious outside contract getting in the way?
You know what Lucy said?
I didn't give her my word that we wouldn't go over. That's just an excuse.
Anna, you're wrong. Of course I'm worried about Gordon.
Then let me book the tickets.
Yeah, she's been really down lately. She let this woman she only half knew mind the baby all day. But my dad went spare, didn't he? So she's been on these tablets a couple of weeks. They're supposed to make her feel better.
Hey, perhaps you can lend me some.
You?
Well, I'm depressed, aren't I?
You are?
He finished with me
Oh, well.
last night. The cheek of him. After me slaving away for weeks making him that jacket, the leather thing. You don't laugh like that skirt.
Yeah, it's French. I'm thinking of finishing with Andrew.
Oh,
I'm getting really bored of him and his mates.
yeah. Hey, how about us going out? Just the two of us? Or doesn't being a death?
2 essays tonight.
Well, what about tomorrow then?
Could always tell him I'm staying in. Yeah, fancy a ball.
Hey, are you going to wear this French stuff?
Yep.
I wouldn't mind those.
Well, why don't you copy them? So long as you don't take them to bits.
Can I?
Yeah, why not look like a couple of frogs? Can you have them done by tomorrow?
Easy. Hey, we could pretend to be frogs, couldn't we?
You what?
Well, we'd pull the fellas if they thought we were.
Hang on, I thought this was supposed to be an all-girls night out.
Yeah, but it'd be a laugh, wouldn't it?
It would, especially as you can't speak French to save your life.
Who needs to talk? It's the image and that body language.
Karen! I better go and see what she wants. Bring them with you. Karen! Right, Amaya. Get the tea started, will you please? Mother, I've got 2 essays to do this afternoon.
Well, you can do them later on. I've got to see to the baby.
I've got 2 free periods. That's why I'm home. I'm supposed to be working.
Oh, yes. Well, what have you got a friend in for, then?
Yeah, I'd better go then, eh?
Oh, I'm not saying that. All I'm asking for is a hand.
Well, where's our Damon, eh? What about him?
Oh, God knows, and I'm asking you.
I'll go. What time are we going out then?
I'll call for you about 6:30. Get changed at yours, eh?
See ya.
What did you have to say that for, eh? In front of her?
I didn't mean it like that.
She feel rotten, though. She won't dare come back.
Well, she's always in and out, and our Damon's mates. The only one I never see is your father. It's all right for you.
Nor if you're going to show my friends up every time they come round, it's not.
Oh, Karen! I'm sorry, though. I've nothing against Susie or the others. look, it's just, seeing you and our Damon and your dad. Well, you're all out doing things. Well, I take one afternoon off from the baby and look what happened.
I think you're exaggerating a bit, Mum. We look after her as much as we can.
I don't know. I just feel trapped, stuck in here.
You don't feel any better since you started the tablets, then? Don't worry. You won't be like this for long. I mean, kids grow up quick. You said it yourself often enough.
I feel as if I've had her for years already.
I'll get that tea started, Doug.
Mike, Archie.
Hi.
We are honoured. What are you doing down here in a suit like that?
Good job it's not my Sunday one, eh? You know where I can find Miss Havisham?
Not seen her today.
Really? She asked me to see her this afternoon about these blasted returns.
She's been taken off the review.
Oh? Seems odd. I thought she was very competent. And a nice change from your usual accountancy types. She made a mess of it.
I'm not quite sure. Deacon Matthews has had her shifted for unprofessional emotional involvement.
What sort of a trumped-up charge is that?
She went for a drink with yours truly.
She wouldn't go for a drink or anything else with Loverboy Matthews?
It's about the strength of it.
6:30? Well, I don't know whether I'm going to see him, but... Right.
All right, kid.
Mate of yours on the phone, Ted Harper.
Harper or Harker?
I don't know. Do they have to phone here?
Well, he's probably phoned the office first, love.
Yeah, well, I said I didn't know whether I'd see you. He's got a meeting at 6:30.
Yeah, well, you have seen me, haven't you? Because I got off early. I'm going to nip upstairs and see the other little girl in my life. See if she fancies a hug.
Not now. I've just got her settled.
Well, I won't wake her up, love.
You will. She's had rotten wind.
Well, I'll get her wind up, love. It's no problem.
No!
Blimey, you gave me down the banks this morning for ignoring her. And now you won't let me near her.
There's plenty of time for that later on. You don't have to go now.
Look, one of the reasons I got off work early was to see her. I mean, and to see you as well. But what's happened, love? You've done nothing but narc at me since I put my foot in the door. Look, I know you're depressed, love, and I understand that. But blimey, there's a limit to what I can cope with myself, you know.
What are you doing?
I'm phoning Ted Harker.
You're not going out again.
Look, I promised him last week.
Oh, God.
Shit. It's the last night meeting I've got this week, isn't it? I've just got one other meeting of a night. That's with George and a fella from Petrochem. And we're having that here.
Here?
Here, yeah.
You can't.
Well, why not?
Well, look at the place. It's filthy.
No, it's not.
Well, what do you think about this, then? I mean, look at the state of this suite and the carpet.
They're not going to be looking at that. They're coming here for a meeting.
No, they're not. Nobody's coming into my house while it's in this state. If you want to have meetings here, you get a bit of decorating done.
Well, it's not that bad.
Don't you go siding with him. You won't be doing any decorating, will you? Gallivanting about half the time. Look, you've been in work for 6 months now. There's no excuse. We can afford a bit of wallpaper.
Oh, that's it, is it? Oh, I see. We've got a few bob, have we? I go to work in the collar and tie, eh? God blimey, girl, you'll be asking for the new house next, won't you?
No. I just want it decorating.
Well, it's the first time you've mentioned it, isn't it, for God's sake? I say I'm bringing a new face home, you put on your airs and graces. Well, if this house is good enough for me, it's good enough for the fellas I work with.
It's not good enough for me. Now, I've got my relatives coming here in a couple of weeks' time, and I want it done.
Well, I haven't got the time.
Find the time.
Jesus Christ, oh, Sheila.
There's lots of people on the dole out there. You're always going on about that. Get one of them to do it.
Jesus, I'm not rolling in it, you know. I've never had anyone in to do the decorating in my life.
I don't care.
Oh, God.
I just want it done.
Well, I can't afford it.
Then I'll tell you to do it.
Me sister's fell her half dead in hospital. A brick through me front window. That's the sort of thing that I'm having to put up with since George went into prison for something he didn't do. So don't talk to me about fighting.
Mrs. Jackson, this was not mere fighting.
Them lads come home night after night, punched and bruised. They're bullied, day in, day out. But nobody here says a word, do they? You're the headmaster. You're supposed to protect them. As far as I'm concerned, they're protecting their father's name. How would you like your kids being called Jailbird Jackson, eh? I'm glad they've started to fight. It's about time.
Mrs. Jackson, your boys were not being bullied. They systematically beat. This first year, he's only started a few weeks ago. Well, quite frankly, I'm disgusted.
What did he do to them, eh? Nobody said a word about that. Have you found that out?
The McCardle boy was practically unconscious.
McCardle?
Didn't you know? Yes, Colin McCardle. Their family come from Nottingham, Mrs. Jackson. They have no relatives in Liverpool whatsoever.
You sure?
I don't know anything about this local McCardle. I don't want to. All I know is that your boys are lucky that Mr. and Mrs. McCardle are not pressing charges. I just hope for your sake they don't change their minds. Of course, I have had to give an undertaking to Mr. and Mrs. McCardle that your boys will be dealt with in an appropriate manner. And bearing in mind that they have had warnings over their behaviour, and you have been visited by the educational welfare officer over their truancy, Mrs. Jackson, I have no option but to suspend them forthwith. Now, initially, the suspension will last for 3 days, but before then, it is my intention to seek the consent of the school governors to extend that period. I have no option, Mrs. Jackson. None at all.
Thanks.